A North Carolina wife is charged with murder after her veteran husband's dismembered body was found in a pond. Prosecutors allege travel nurse Shayna Cloud killed her husband Clint Bonnell amid divorce plans and possibly an alleged confrontation over a suspected romantic partner.
Welcome back to Looking for Better Days. I'm making this video because a lot of people think that females are angels, but this will probably change your perspective. Let's get into it.
For a suspected romantic partner. I'm going to break down the gruesome details of this case and get insight on what's next with a North Carolina criminal defense attorney. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Now, whether or not his cheating is right or wrong, I'm not even going to get into that. We all know what it is, but
a routine welfare check for a missing veteran quickly spiraled into a gruesome and horrifying murder investigation in Cumberland County, North Carolina. We are talking a mutilated body, an alleged crumbling marriage, and a wife who's now accused of murdering her husband in cold blood. After Clint Bonnell, a retired Special Forces soldier and aspiring physician's assistant, vanished back in January, and this was described, by the way, as very out of character for him to do this, this left his family demanding answers.
Now, first off, do you know how killing somebody is going to affect a person? Much less in the way that this crime was sought out, like the way that this crime took place, dismembering somebody's body. You got to be a different type of evil to go through with that. That's not like that's definitely not normal. I mean, killing people in general is not normal, but I'm just saying, like, to dismember somebody takes premeditation. It takes a lot of, I would say it takes a lot of guts to be able to do something like that. I don't know. I've never dismembered somebody, but over, and then this is over, it's supposed to be over cheating is what they said. This is crazy. But let's see what else they got to say.
But now, over 2 months later, authorities are pointing the finger at his wife, Shayna Cloud, a traveling nurse and former Virginia Department of Corrections employee. You see, Cloud was arrested on March 29th, now sits in jail, charged with first-degree murder and the concealment of an unnatural death. And what authorities believe she did to her husband is beyond disgusting. This all began back on January 28th when the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says that Clint, a student enrolled in Methodist University's physician assistant program, failed to show up for morning class. His absence immediately raised red flags. In fact, his sister, Stephanie Firkins, told NBC News he was completely enamored with medicine and excited about his career path. He would not walk away from his life and his school and his daughter. So a concerned university employee called the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office. When deputies got there, they found Clint's car, his book bag, his wallet, other personal belongings, but no sign of the retired soldier. Now, his wife, Shayna Cloud, was there. And she told investigators that she hadn't seen him since the day prior, January 27th. She told police they had both been at Fit for Life gym, but then they left in separate vehicles, with Clint allegedly heading to Methodist University.
And then he looks like he's a pretty decorated U.S. soldier, or I'm not sure what his rank is. But honestly, man, this is real unfortunate. Like, you could have left, you could have did. There's so many other things you could have did, but take this man's life.
To study for an upcoming exam. But something didn't add up here, because in the arrest affidavits that were obtained by Law and Crime, police noted that the car that Clint typically drove, a Mercedes-Benz, was parked at their home. They also noted that Cloud declined to file a missing persons report, and she said that she had no recollection of Clint returning home that evening, and when she woke up, his car was parked outside, but he was nowhere to be found. Now, later that same day, a second call came in, this time from someone unexpected. It was Clint's girlfriend. Yes, he apparently was having an affair. And she also requested a welfare check. And at this point, police began investigating this as a missing persons case. And we will get to this relationship in a minute. But I want to bring on right now special guest, North Carolina criminal.
And I'm guessing the wife probably didn't even know about the secrets. I'm not sure. I mean, they're not. Obviously, I haven't gotten to that yet, but this is an unfortunate event, man, and to see that people are like, that's not normal behavior, man. This is becoming like more widespread. I don't know. America seems like they got a mental health issue or something. This is crazy. All right, before we get into this, y'all, um, if y'all don't want to have kids, man, don't have kids. There's no reason to bring another human being into this world and then deal with them in some of the horrific ways that I've heard about as of lately. But let's get into it.
Months shy of turning 2 years old, a toddler with his whole life ahead of him, until it was taken in an instant. At first, it seemed like a tragic accident. A mother behind the wheel, her young son was in the back seat, and then suddenly her car veered off the road and plunged into the Trinity River. But what police discovered later was even worse. According to the Fort Worth Police Department, this was not an accident. It was reportedly intentional. I'll walk you through the details. For Law and Crime News, I'm Kennedy Walker. We don't have to go back far. The date was March 22nd, 2025, just before 6 p.m., when first responders were dispatched to a call near the Trinity River Bridge. A
This was a
vehicle
couple
had been
weeks
seen
ago.
going into the water and then sinking. According to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, emergency crews rushed to the scene. Divers entered the river hoping to rescue anyone trapped inside. They found 38-year-old Melanie Robinson and pulled her from the vehicle. But her son, Jonas Allen, was missing. The toddler was nowhere in sight. Dive teams searched frantically, but when the car was finally pulled from the water, there was no sign of the little boy. With daylight fading, the search was called off for the night. The next day, they began again, and eventually, they found Jonas.
So the only
But it
thing I'm
was too
thinking is she
late. The
threw it out,
child's
threw him
body
out the
was
window or
recovered
something.
lifeless. A balloon release was held in his honor. Meanwhile, Robinson was fighting for her life. She was rushed to the hospital shortly after she was found. According to KXAS, doctors placed her in a medically induced coma. Her family waited, praying that she'd survive, but they never got the chance. Just 3 days later, Melanie Robinson died from her injuries at Texas Health Harris Methodist Hospital. Now, with both mom and
So what I gather from this in my head is like maybe she was suicidal, and as far as the baby's concerned, I don't know if she left him in the woods, threw him out the moving car. God forbid. I'm sorry. This is just crazy. Um, this is. If you didn't want the kid, why didn't you just give him up for adoption? I mean, adoption is a thing. As much as I hate to say it, abortion is a thing. If you choose to go that route, and there's so many other things you could have did than what you did. I'm not sure what people are doing nowadays, man. This is sickening.
son deceased, Fort Worth police launched a deeper investigation, working to find out what led to their car entering the river. What they discovered was gut-wrenching. Police say the death of 1-year-old Jonas Allen has officially been ruled a homicide. Investigators believe Melanie Robinson drove into the river on purpose, killing both herself and her son. According to authorities, this was not an accident. It was an intentional act. Had Melanie survived, she would have been arrested for capital murder of a child under 10 years old. Detectives declined to say how exactly they determined that Jonas's death was intentional. A spokesperson told the Star-Telegram, quote, "We are not at liberty to say what family members, witnesses, and any possible medical history may have been shared with the detectives. Now, instead of preparing for Jonas's second birthday, loved ones are left with funeral arrangements and endless
So
questions." According to his
the question that I have now in my head is like, was the baby in the car? Was he not in the car? The baby couldn't have been possible. The baby couldn't have been restrained properly because in that case, this wouldn't have happened. Not the way that they're portraying the story. The baby would have, God forbid, passed in the water with her or something of that nature. So something had to have happened to where they deemed this a homicide rather than you know a random act that happened.
Obituary, Jonas enjoyed cheese puffs while watching his favorite shows, The
Jeez, he was
Backyardigans, PJ
young
Masks,
too.
and Super Y. He also enjoyed going to the park and riding the merry-go-round and swinging. The writer also added Jonas loved his mommy and daddy. You saw it when you saw them together. And joining me to talk more about this is Detective Aaron Benzik. Thank you so much for coming on today. At first, police believe that this
Man, I'm gonna just end this off by saying this. It's unfortunate to see people not wanting to have their children, much less like there are people who can't even have children. They were born sterile for whatever reason, whether they were exposed to something or just medically something went wrong, or they themselves like were just born that way. So it's unfortunate to see that people who have the ability to have children either are not of sane body and mind, or they have their own issues to where things end this way. That child, and then the father, the father, he got to be devastated right now. This doesn't have nothing to do with it. If the mom was going through whatever she was going through, that's fine. But why not give the baby to the father? This is crazy. Anyways, if you guys made it to the end of the video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime that I upload. Also, click all. That way they'll show you the notifications anytime that I upload. You guys have a great day. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. I'm out.